And when he saw them, he ran to meet them from the tent door and bowed himself toward the ground. Verse 3, and said, My Lord, if now I have found favor in thy sight, pass not away, I pray thee, from thy servant. Chapter 18 of Genesis brings an experience at a place called Mamre. And that is the experience we want to explore today. And I have entitled this sermon, because it will be very brief, The Paradox of the Mamre Experience. There are several experiences we've had in our lives, but when we put it as the paradox of the Mamre experience, then there is an experience that comes with an expectation not met. And therefore, we make it a paradox. While the experience is supposed to give us what is expected from the experience, but there is a paradox, or there is a twist within that experience. Abraham, as well known, is introduced to the Bible with a very clear generational path. As a matter of fact, Abraham is introduced in the biblical context with an introduction of Shem in the Bible. If you are a keen biblical student, you'll realize that through Shem down, Abraham is introduced in chapter 12 of the same Genesis. Chapter 11 brings you from Shem, if you read from verse 10 of chapter 11, introduces Abraham in an interesting order. As a matter of fact, Abraham is specifically introduced by all the generations. Like Elijah, was it by choice, by divine order, or was it by chance? I am persuaded to believe that there is a reason for that generational order. But that is not the most important thing. Abraham is brought in, and we know that Abraham, in chapter 12, is moving from Ur to Haran. The place now where we are is now Mamre. Abraham at Mamre, we are being introduced to Abraham at a time when there is extreme drought at Mamre, and he was sitting just under the oak tree. As a matter of fact, God showed up to Abraham and told him, you need to leave your people and go to a land that I will show you. still alive. Thank you for your parents. Bring this to your own experience that your mom and dad, who you love so much, and your relatives at home who you really value, and all the things that your house and home that you have created over time, you are told to leave wherever you come from to a land unknown to you, only known to the person telling you. Did you get it? You're not being told where you will be taken to, but you're just told to leave. You don't know the place, but you trust the person telling you that the place they are taking you to or showing you to go to shall be okay. No, it's not about coming to a, Alupe is known. You actually applied that choice one, maybe your University of Nairobi, 2, KU, Alupe, number 3. I suspect that is not the experience here. Because you had a choice and it was shown the names of the different universities, and somehow in your writings, Alupe appeared somewhere. If it didn't appear, I'm sorry, but somehow you're here. Did you get me? That is not the experience Abraham had. Abraham is called, believe and go. But where you're going, you know not. You just need to trust and obey. And that is why within the fathers of faith in Hebrew chapter 11, Abraham is mentioned in a very interesting manner. Hebrew chapter 11, reading from verse 8. If you're there before me, you can start off reading. It reads, by faith, Abraham.
When he was called to go out into a place, which would after receive foreign evidence,
obey. Went out.
Not knowing whither he went.
Did you get that? Not even knowing. But get this. Obeyed, then went out, not even knowing where it's going to. Continue. By faith. He sojourned in the land of promise. In a strange country. Dwelled in tabernacles with the children and the relatives. He looked for a city. Which had foundations. Who the builder and the maker is God. By faith, he was looking from afar for a city built, but not by human beings, but by God. By faith. Did you get that?
Yeah.
That is chapter 12 of Genesis. He moves and moves and moves. When he finally lands to Mamre, in verse chapter 18, where we are. I love to shorten it so that we get it. At Mamre, I want us to get the experience at Mamre. Chapter 18. The Lord appeared unto him in the plains of Mamre, as he sat in the tent door in the heat of the what? What is the heat of the day? Another version, what does it say? Verse 1 of chapter 18. No, we have different versions. This is King James.
As he sat at the door of his tent in the heat of the day.
In the heat of the day. Is there any version that does not talk about heat? Yes.
The Lord appeared to Abraham at the sacred trees of Mamre, as Abraham was sitting at the entrance of his tent during the hottest part of the day.
During the hottest part of the day. Which is the hottest part of the day? Sorry? I know not. But if you're in a desert, in Mamre, as a matter of fact, current day Iraq, the hottest part of the day, I know not, but I suspect is noon towards 1 p.m., right? Yes. At that time, the sun does not joke with the human head, right? And if you happen to be bald, the reflection says it all. Did you get me? The hottest part of the day. God has a very interesting way of introducing himself to people. I keep wondering, why did God have to wait when it's hot? Then he does what? He had the option of appearing in the morning, right? When it's chilly and everyone is relaxed, maybe breakfast has been served. You've taken your porridge and you're relaxing in your room. God appears and knocks. Hey, God, how are you doing? Or why not appear in the evening when you're just relaxing? You've read things that you cannot fathom and you can't understand what you've read, but you're just relaxing because there's no class tomorrow. And then God says, how are you? Why must God appear in the hottest time of the day? You have no money to go to the mess. All the food you have in the house is gone. You probably failed in the cat and they're threatening to give you supplementary. Then God appears. This creator has a tendency. But I like the response in verse 2. It says, and he lifted up his eyes and looked. And lo, how many men? 3 men stood by him. Now, did you get it? It is the hottest part of the day. Then when he looked, lo, 3 men were already beside him. They didn't make a description that 3 men were walking towards him. Did you get it? There was no 3 men walking towards him. There were just 3 men beside him. Did you get that? The God has this tendency of always appearing at the worst of our times and just being in our situation. If you remember Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, when they were thrown in the hottest side of the day, added sulfur, what happened? There appeared another man by them. Did you get it? Yes. He has that tendency of appearing to people of faith just at the hottest time. Verse 3, and said, my Lord. Oh, did you get that? No. You are sitting somewhere near your tent below the oak tree. You wake up and look, there are 3 people beside you. Within the human nature, it is normal to ask who are you, right? And have nice greetings, right? But I like this. There is a connection between Abraham and God, and he knows very well that these are not normal 3 men. Abraham might have went through the oracles of the Bible and knew that it is not always normal within the biblical context to have 3 people. There is a tendency for 3 to represent divinity and perfection. I suspect that God himself appeared to Abraham, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in the form of men, that he might just assure Abraham of what he said. And he said in verse 3, and said, my Lord, if now I found favor in thy sight, pass not away. No, I didn't get that. My voice is lost. I didn't. This is the verse 1, stanza 1. And Abraham proceeds and says a very interesting word. Let what? A little water. Did you say much water? Just a little water. I pray you be fetched and do what? Wash your feet and rest yourselves under the what? Under the just a little what? Get this point at the point where he says, "Pass me not, who then will save me." He reminded that no, these are actually God has visited. And when God visits you, don't just be in the habit of telling God, "I have nothing." You can have it. Did you say that? There are people who have this habit of saying they have nothing. Who told you you have nothing? How did you make it to a university if you have nothing? Or you went to school with your father? No, did you? For you to be an alumni, it means you went to high school, right?
Yeah.
So whether someone paid or not, it is by grace, right? So when God knocks, don't just appear and say, "Oh, we are the people who have nothing." No! The nothing league does not work in God's hands because He is the creator. He has just given you as a steward, and therefore Abraham remembers and says, "Lord, just a little water." Remember, it is a desert. It's the hottest. Do you think in a desert people are giving out water? No, you've not visited Bhutan. You visit there. Just carrying this water is dangerous. Your hand might disappear. You get that? Because they are just about the hottest part of the day. Remember, God has visited when everyone is thirsty and just needs just a little water to quench their what? But what is it saying? A little water to wash their what?
Feet.
It's not to drink. No, I think everyone around him might have said, "You're mad." It is dry, very hot, and you're telling them to use the water to do what? There's madness. Abraham, be careful. Check your brain. Are you getting me? It means the feet is none of the business at such a time, right?
Yeah.
But Abraham looked and thought these people might have traversed for a long way. And he said, "Just wash your feet." Because that is what used to happen anyway. Once you've washed your feet, please have a rest just under the feet. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Verse 5, if you have another version, please read with me. We'll leave it at verse. Read with me very fast so that we end it there. We don't need to take a lot of time.
I will also bring a bit of food.
I will also bring a what?
A bit of food.
No, please respond. If the neighbor is not responding, ask them why I'm sweating and they're not responding. I'm doing a lot of work and they're just sitting down. All right, please read.
I will also bring a bit of food.
I will also bring a what?
A lot of
A
food.
bit of food. King James Version says a morsel of bread. Just a little. Read.
I will give you strength to continue your journey.
I will give you strength to continue the what?
Your journey.
The journey.
You have honored me by coming to my home,
You've honored me by coming to my home.
so let me serve you.
So let me serve you.
They replied,
They replied,
"Thank you, we accept."
"Thank you, we accept." Just a little water to wash your feet. Take a rest. I'll also just give you a bit of what? A bit of food, all right? Then I will serve you, oh Lord. Did you get that? I don't have much, but just a bit of food, just a bit of 10 shillings, I will give you. And the Lord replied, "Thank you." We do what? Accept. So the genuineness of the heart was at play. Clearly, it was the desert. Clearly, no much food. Clearly, everything was against Abraham. But at such a time, he said, "This little water that I have, please clean your feet because the distance and the journey is still long. Just a little food to get the energy to proceed." Did you get that?
Yes.
No. I'm the Lord, and he said, "And I will serve you." That verse puts it well, right? No, I just don't have a little food, but I will do what? I will serve you. Proceed. No, you read with me. Help the preacher.
Abraham hurried into the tent and said to Sarah, Quick, take a sack of your best flour and bake some bread.
Your best what? No. Your best what? Just, no. Get that. No, that word best is not just thrown in there. It was not. No, you didn't get it.
Abraham hurried into the tent and said to Sarah, Quick, take a sack of your best flour and bake some bread.
Best flour, or the fine meal in another version. All right, verse 7.
Then he ran to the herd and picked out a calf that was tender and fat, and gave it to a servant, and who hurried to get it ready.
Verse 8.
He took some cream, some milk, and the meat, and set the food before the men. There, under the tree, he served them himself, and they ate.
Verse 9.
Then they asked him, Where is your wife Sarah? She is there in the tent.
No, did you get this? This experience is very unique, and that's why I tell you there's the paradox of this Mamre experience. Get this point. He has an experience with these three people. No, he does not even go to the wife and tell them, I have met three people. Did you get that?
Yeah.
I've met three people, come and greet them. No. There is a different experience when you have God in your life. It is a personal experience. Not even your wife can tag you along. Did you get that? You have a responsibility of carrying them along, but when you finally meet God, meets you, you don't even remember your wife. You know, it's natural. When three visitors come to your home and you are married, what do? Invite your wife, right? Right? Yeah, I've met three people, come and greet them, right? It's within the natural African context. But no! These were not the normal visitors. When I will give you a little food, then goes to the wife and says, you prepare ABCD. You know, no question. You know, there are some wives when they will start questioning you, who are you taking food to? Who are they? Where are they? No. Just prepare. Did you get that? When there is an experience with God, things flow in manners that you don't understand. I like it because there was obedience in either side. Sarah did not ask many questions that most of you like asking, ladies. No, that's not the topic of today. That's not the topic of today, Aggie. All right? This is the point. You know, occasionally, in the hottest of the sun, right? Do you think fire is one of the best things to be near? All right? Everyone is probably tired because Abraham was resting under a tree. The expectation is everyone is right. Resting. So the wife is not an exception, right? But when Abraham appears in the tent, he starts to cook and says, hey, the cows, please bring the best. And everything is moving. There is obedience on both sides. And God says, where is your wife? Did you hear that? Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes when there is complete obedience in a home, whether on one side, the other side automatically obeys. That automatic obedience brought favor. Read, we need to end it. There are a lot of things we need to discuss.
One of them said,
Yes.
9 months from now, I'll come back.
9 months from now, I will know what?
I'll come back.
Come back.
And your wife Sarah will have a son.
Your wife Sarah will have what?
Son.
Son.
Sarah was behind him at the door of the tent listening. Abraham and Sarah were very old, and Sarah had stopped having her monthly period.
Yeah. No, the Bible, this one puts it very plain. Just read.
So Sarah laughed to herself and said, now that I am old and worn out, can I still enjoy sex? And besides, my husband is too old.
Verse 14.
14. Is anything too hard for the Lord? As I said, 9 months from now I will return, and Sarah will have a son.
So did you get that?
Yeah.
No. I need you to get the paradox now. Remember, Sarah did not meet these people. Says that, oh, is anything too what? Too hard for the Lord. No, the Mamre experience is a long topic. We will not progress it today because of time. But let us put the context now. At Alupa University, you find yourself in the hardest of moments where you have to come to church as an Adventist or a non-Adventist, occasionally come to church. You have a lot of responsibility occasionally. You have to pay for your food or you're given free food.
No.
I'm asking. Your food, when your clock is done, you call home so that they send you some money, you go and shop, or when help comes in, you are very new, right? It happens. It was there. When help comes, people disappear from school. And the next Sabbath, people are in suit, and some tie, And occasionally you change your shoe once or twice in a car, right? There are a lot of responsibilities. Then one day, the elder just wakes up and says, we have a pants drive. And you know very well there's no help, right? You know very well you are broke. That people actually say you're broke as hell. I don't think hell is broke. No, hell is not broke. Hell has a lot of people. Hell can never be broke if there is any hell. I'm broke! Lord, the worst time of the term of the semester. But by your side, God is saying, just a little water, just a bit food, just serve me. Did you get that?
Yeah.
Then you're wondering, no, this is impossible. And God comes to you and asks you, is anything impossible with God? That's the question He's asking today. Is anything impossible? What answer do you want to give? The answer should be a chorus of no. If God made me to be here today, then nothing is impossible to God. Even if I have 5 shillings, I will give it up. Because anything, our life is an example and a living testimony of what God has done unto who? Unto us. You know that? If it were not for God, you would not be here. Do you get that? Yeah. Even the English you're speaking, you will not be speaking that. As a matter of fact, you are actually meant to be in the village speaking your own language. Are you getting my point? How many people in your village who does not know the language you speak? Who you address in English and they don't know? Do you have them? Okay, in my village they're there. Maybe your village you're very similar. But the point is, you are meant to be that person. But God made you to be at Alupa. The bastion of what?
Knowledge.
Is anything too hard for God? No. Today I just remembered one of the fundraisings we had at JQuad some time back, and it was for a mission. And we were to raise 630,000. And we were like, hey, even if we were to give 100 bob, 100 bob was a lot of time, a lot of money there. And the elder just stood up and said, give 2,000 each. And we are there very clear in our mind that no, at this time of the semester, 2,000 elder. No. But I ask myself today, is anything too hard for the Lord? When Sarah knew very well that no, it was not possible to give back, the Lord said, you will not, I'm not saying you give back, but he asked the first question, is anything too hard for what? No, God has blessed us so much that we may not just understand. We have just been brought out to have some small fundraising in the hottest of the times. When the economy is dwindling, the inflation rate has hit 9.2. You know not what 9.2 means. If you are a business student, you'll know what 9.2 means in inflation. The currency exchange rate today, the dollar is going for 131 shillings, all the way from 92 shillings. You know what that means to the CPI or the Consumer Price Index. I can tell you today, you go to 1,000 shillings to go and shop, you buy nothing, right? But God is saying we have a fast track. God is a weird person. So sometimes God, you need to ask God, what's happening? All right? You take 2,000 shillings if you're a lady, walk to a supermarket, buy your oil, you realize it's 527 one, you buy the second one, 1,000 is over. Did you get that? If you go to make your hair, buy those funny things you have on your hair, and the person, man, I think 1,000 is gone, right? No. The hottest of the days. This funds drive is coming at a time when everyone is looking at me and they are not happy. Even the help, everyone is asking themselves, they need to double the help to be in tandem with the inflation. They have not doubled yet. But yes, that is the time you need the funds drive. No, it's normal to ask God, you just need the funds drive at this time. Right? But God will ask you the abnormalities of God. Is anything too hard for who?
The Lord.
He will bless you when you least expect. When Sarah knew that this was impossible, he says, is anything too hard for who?
For the Lord.
I will visit after how many months?
9 months.
No, God is a joker sometimes. But it's his jokes. He has blessed people. And Abraham has been declared as the father of all nations. Visited one hot day. God has visited Alupe today in the hottest of days. When December is just about, you're saving to go and have some Christmas. I know you're saving. For the man, you're probably having 500 shillings to take her out. She might disappoint, but I hope she won't. The hottest of days. Did you get me? The ladies, I know you're really saving for that wedding. They probably gave you 4,000 shillings, right? You really want to attend because you are the cream de la cream of the society. You're the people who are invited to serious weddings because of just the name Alupe University. Thank God for Alupe University. You're being blessed to attend weddings. Did you get me? I know you're saving for it. I also know you're saving for that hair you shopped and checked in the internet. You think you look good. You look very bad in it. But yes, you're saving for it. I know you're saving for that beautiful cloth who you saw some celebrity putting on and you believe you have the shape of the body that it will appear abnormal to you. But I know you're saving. Did you get me? For the man, I know you're saving to buy some interesting one single tie that you occasionally put on Sabbath. You might be shopping for just one shirt or two. You're saving for Christmas. Did you get me? But now God is asking, I need some drive. I need my money. Did you get that? You have kept it so long, just a little. So go to water. And you're telling God, God, you know what? At this time, we have that tendency. Have you had that experience? People need money and you start arguing with God. God, I need this money for A. My fee is not yet done. I am going to pay 500 or I'm going to pay 2,000 for my fee so that I do the exam, right? Have you ever argued with God? No, me, I've argued with God. I've told God, no, I have my rent to pay. So I just pay a little rent. So I'll add for my transport home and fuel for the car. So God, if you see this, I don't have money. Have you agreed with God? God has a way of asking you simple questions. Is anything too hard for who? For God. He's asking that by faith. There's a song says, and by faith we can see the what? How does it go? Which song number as we end? There is a land that is very God. To prepare the dwelling in the sweet by and by. We shall meet on the beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by. We shall meet on the beautiful. Which number is it? Sorry? 428. If you're there, find it. Please find it so that we can sing 428. Verse 2, we shall sing.
We shall sing,
We shall sing
on the beautiful shore.
the melodious song of the praise, and the Spirit shall sorrow no more. Not a sign for the blessings of grace. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on the beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on the beautiful shore. To our bountiful Father, we will offer the tributes of faith for the glorious gift of His love and the blessings that follow again in the sweet by and by. We shall meet on the beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on the beautiful shore. Kitambo tutakutana ng'ambo pale. Kitambo tu bado tutakutana ng'ambo pale. Sit down. In In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. In the sweet by and by, we shall meet on the beautiful shore. When the hottest of sun has come down and God has been faithful to us, we shall meet on that beautiful shore. When all things are said and done and the looping university is no more, we have served the Lord with faith, genuineness, and grace. We shall meet on that beautiful shore. When all is said and done and God knows that I had nothing, but the nothing I had, just a little that I gave him, we shall meet on that beautiful shore and sing this wonderful melody. For God is still the creator and the master of the universe. May God bless you.
Amen.
Let us pray. God Almighty, we wish to have a memory experience with you. And every time we look at it, we just understand that we don't have anything. But I thank you because just a little water, just a little food made Abraham to be the father of all nations. We are proud of Abraham because of just a little food and just a little water. The paradox of the Mamre experience is that we don't have the faith. And occasionally we laugh and ask God whether there are things that are possible in our lives. We have no the money. My God, you are the creator of everything. Silver and gold belongs unto you. And therefore, this particular time, we dedicate everything unto you. That in the Mamre experience, no paradox might exist. That we might do everything possible to see you, to serve you with the little that we have. Give us this wonderful Mamre experience that one day we might sing that melodious song of the beautiful shore. For this I pray in Jesus' name.